Hello, everybody, and happy Saturday. I'm gearing up to go to my part-time job. That's why I look a little bit crusty. Um, and it's a little gloomy out today, but still, this is the day that the Lord has made, and I will rejoice and be glad in it. But I wanted to get on here really quick because I know everybody has all this dating advice, right? And please, like I said, consider the source, okay? Like I always tell everybody, pray about me first before you take any advice about me, what's going on, and that type of thing. Now, before I give any dating advice, I will give this disclaimer. Anytime you are in a relationship and you are being abused, okay, by all means, throw all that relationship advice out the window that anybody, including myself, might have, and call the police, call a relative that you could trust to get out of that situation, or talk to somebody that you can help get some guidance out of that situation, okay? Because I ain't gonna lie to you. When it's a situation where you're being abused, my petty advice won't suffice, okay? But what I will say about dating and just in life in general, I feel like that negative past experiences are the things that are going to shape us and mold us for either the better or for the worse. For example, I like to think negative experiences or not so great experiences are all lessons. I take them all as lessons. When people talk about L's, I don't think about it as a loss. I think about it as a lesson. And some of us have had a lot of lessons that we've had to learn, but we have to be careful about projecting that lesson from keeping you from where God wants you to be, or just, using that lesson as something that's going to keep you from living and enjoying life, right? So for example, sometimes when we're timid or fearful about doing something different, oftentimes it comes from, growing up, always being afraid of something or being fearful of something or being careful about something, which I'm not saying there's something wrong with that, but I'm saying that sometimes those negative experiences can be projected on us as adults. Okay. And even just in relationships. Okay. Now, for me, I'll put me out there on blast or whatever. I have been in relationships for probably probably 4 men that after that I have broken up with them, they have gotten married, right? Now, after the first time, I was like, wow, okay. Second time, I was like, huh? Third time, I was like, is it me? And then fourth time, which recently happened, I was like, can't be. And in such a way, I even asked myself, can this be that? And this is something that is hard to admit because some of y'all probably out here doing it too. It hurt so badly that, yeah, I Googled the person that they married, and I'm like, man, what is it that she's doing that she got this now awesome guy? And I had to go through different things and different situations with this guy. Why did I get this end of the stick? And why did someone else get a better end of the stick? Right. And I admit that, as long as, and some of y'all don't want to admit that because, yes, it's creepy. However, just make sure you're not out here trying to make it a acrimony type situation. Okay. That's bad. Okay. So, but even then, the times where I would search out that profile, I'll be like, man, what does this person have that I didn't get? Now, transparency, she's gorgeous. You know what I'm saying? By all means, I don't, I don't compare, but, I think I'm cute, but at the same time, I understand that I'm not everybody's cup of tea, right? And not only from the last relationship, like I said, she's gorgeous, and all the other relationships that, some of the other men have gotten married to, their wives are gorgeous. So shout out to them. You know what I'm saying? But even then, sometimes those past hurts will lead us down a drain of comparing and beating ourselves up. And then a lot of times it keeps us from really engaging in someone who really might be for us, but they might be healing along the way too. And some of us confuse that with discernment. Oh, well, he is just like the rest of these, and you know what I'm saying? And he no good, da, 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 da. No, sis, you're using your past experiences from past relationships. You're using your trauma and your pain to determine whether this person person is right for you. Discernment will have you, what I just admitted. That's what discernment will do. Okay. Discernment will get you embarrassed. Okay. But discernment is also, when something is coming up and you need to be mindful of it, and it's something that you might need to back away or change directions or change pathways in that situation. But what I would say in the dating world is someone who desires marriage, right? Heal first. There's nothing wrong. You're not going to be in perfect healing, when you date or you possibly marry somebody, but healing is super important. Okay. That's the first thing. Second thing, I recommend journaling. Okay. Actually, I'm going to scratch that list. I'm going to put the first thing up as praying and fasting, okay? Scratch that last thing I said is number one. Number one is praying and fasting, okay? Fasting is super duper duper important, because what will happen as you are not eating, let's be very clear, fasting is no food, okay? But, and the reference to that is Tiffany Montgomery, Covered by God. Definitely go follow her page. But praying and fasting will put you in a position where everything else that you thought that you didn't think was you were putting before God, it will get you in a position to move all that stuff and put God first, okay? Because you are going to need God's grace to carry you through a fast, because some of us ain't fasted ever. Some of us ain't gone more than 24 hours without food. But one of the things that will get you together is fasting and praying, okay? And I'm not saying fast and pray for a husband. If God tells you to do that, then do that. But it's praying and fasting for healing. It's praying and fasting for idolizing marriage. It's praying and fasting for idolizing love. It's praying and fasting for idolizing relationships. It's praying and fasting that you're idolizing over somebody else because you might be out there trying to search them up and try to figure out who they are. It's praying and fasting about, the past hurt and the past trauma. So that's number one. Okay. Number two is journaling. Okay. Journal how you feel in that moment. Like, really put that pen to paper and really just work on getting it off your chest, for sure. Number three, find some healthier habits, for sure. Like maybe, find an exercise routine, or maybe take a hike. Don't ground. Whole nother conversation. Stop grounding. But anyway, take a hike and get outside, and even maybe find a hobby. Now, if you are in a position to finish your degree. If you want to get a degree, that's fine. But if God ain't calling you to that degree, sis, don't get that degree, okay? But because I feel like sometimes we collect degrees and, it's really kind of you're adding more debt, and you're getting into something that is not relevant, and you're covering up the fact that you might be hurting, okay? But if you want to get a degree, go get a degree. I'm done. I have 3, okay? I don't need no more, all right? So, but still getting into like different hobbies that are creative, that are constructive, that can be monetized. I think those are things that are important when you're healing. And I know there's a lot of videos out there about God said that marriage is here and you're going to receive marriage and XYZ. I'm not doubting that at all. Okay. But I'm saying, like, what needs to happen first is that you need to rid all those spirits, all those demons out of your system. And it could be, and it starts with food, because some of us will bury ourselves in food when we're dealing with something, right? But we have to get, me personally, and anybody else who believes in Jesus Christ, I think it is super important that you get yourself in a position where you say, hey, I need to trust God through this, right? Because a lot of us are out here doing other things, and it ain't helping. It's just not helping. But those are my 2 top things with dating advice. And not even just dating, but like I said, just life in general. Don't use your past pain or your past drama, because it's really probably keeping you from just enjoying life and just living life. And now it's also, thinking about your position and who you are as an individual. Like, maybe it might need to be time to dress differently or present differently. You know what I'm saying? It might be time. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that's what you got to do, but sometimes you got to change some things up to, really see some differences in life. Right. And so, but that comes forth with discipline. So by all means, it's just a random conversation. I did feel God tugging on my heart about having this conversation today. But that's what discernment will do. Discernment will encourage you to put your flaws and faults out there. And like I said, by all means, by you sometimes putting those flaws and those faults out there, like I said, for me, it was comparison. It was like, man, she's really gorgeous. Like, shout out to them. You know what I'm saying? But then it'll be like, dang, but what about me? And what is it that this person didn't like about me? Comparing yourself, comparison is the thief of joy. Okay. So get out of that habit. Okay. Just shed all of that. All right. So, like I said, by all means, praying, fasting, really, that trumps well, not almost, that trumps everything. Okay. So, by all means, I encourage that for you. So, I hope this video helps. Yeah. Let me get to my part time so I'm not late. You guys have a good day.